Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, Microscope Beauty. Today I wanted to do something a little bit different and talk about my evolution of planning. So we're gonna look through a bunch of my old spreads, going all the way back to my first Erin Condren in 2015, and show you guys how I have evolved my planning style throughout the years. But before we get started, I would love to hear about how your planning styles have changed, so definitely leave those in the comments so I can read them over. So I definitely think my planner styles have changed immensely. If you guys have been following me for any extended amount of time, you've definitely seen a lot of changes happening. I jumped from the vertical to the hourly basically every 6 months. But the first spread I'm going to show you guys in this video is from February of 2015. It was right when I got my first Erin Condren, and this was a vertical layout. And this is also the most popular plan with me I've ever posted on YouTube. I will link it above if you want to check it out, but this has so many views and I can see why. It's actually a really cool spread. So I did a donut theme. I used a lot of sticky notes and page flags from the dollar spot at Target back when that was a huge thing. I don't know if it's big anymore. Do people still go crazy over the page flags? Well, I was pretty nuts about them back in 2015, so I used a couple, and then I also used some stickers from Oho because we were about 6 months old when I did this spread. Back then, I was very big on separating out my tasks. I still had a full-time job at the university, and then I had a personal section, and then I also had an Oh Hello section. What I really liked about prepping for this evolution video is seeing all of the old Oh Hello stickers. So these are some of the first ones we ever came out with, and it's just crazy to see them and see how far we've come. The next spread is in May of 2015, and this is when I started using Doris sticker books. I don't know what happened to these bad boys, but I was obsessed with Doris for a good year. I used them in basically every single spread, and this one is the Ride My Bike Doris book, and I think we actually still sell this in our shop. So if you're really into these little guys, we actually have this book for sale. So this spread is very similar to the first spread I showed you, but this one has 2 categories. I decided to do work and personal and split things up that way instead of doing the 3 sections, but I'm still using the same sticker styles, and it's basically the same kind of setup, but there's Doris. Things get a little crazy in this next spread from December of 2015. This is when I started going really heavy with the stickers. I kind of just put them everywhere, and then I added some photos in. It was just a really crazy time for Kayla and stickers. So things are all over the place, but I still have those 2 sections, but this time it's Oh Hello and personal instead of work and personal. So that basically sums up my first year in the vertical Erin Condren. Very simple, minimalist stickers, then things get kind of crazy near the end of the year where I'm getting more heavy into the sticker usage. But moving on now to 2016, and the first spread is from February, and this is when I feel like weekly kits really started to become a thing. They were already pretty prevalent, but this is when I really started paying attention to them, when I started designing them, and when the planner world started focusing more heavily on doing like larger 6-7 page kits. So this one is by Planner-esque, and you can really see the same kind of style from 2015, but there's more decorative boxes and more of a theme to my spreads rather than just picking a color. And then we move to March, and that's when I get my first hourly. And I really liked this spread because it shows just how unfamiliar I was with the hourly. I did a lot of writing on the planner itself and really focusing on using the times. So this was a really interesting period in our lives because this week is actually the week we closed on our house, and I added a bunch of photos and things to document everything that was going on. I really love looking back on these planners and having the photos because it helps to remember those moments so much easier. This next spread is from May, and this is when I really got comfortable using the hourly. A lot of how I plan today can be seen in this spread. I like to use the road stickers to mark travel, and the amount of space I take up is very similar. Plus, I really liked this kit, and it was also my bridal shower week, so I thought that was pretty cool. The next spread is from July, and this is when I went sticker crazy again. I loved using our kits, so I just kind of bombarded the spread with stickers. Things got really cramped, and a lot of stuff was squeezed into a little bit of space. So that spread kind of predicted what was gonna happen next. And in September of 2016, I jumped back into the vertical planner and I started doing no white space planning. I was pretty much obsessed with no white space planning for about a solid month. I loved the way that it looked having all of the stickers laid out. I thought it was a really cool way to see a kit in its entirety, and I went crazy for it until October, where I backed off and I went back to more of my average vertical style planning with white space. It still was really sticker heavy. There were stickers everywhere, but there was definitely white space as well, and things seemed to calm down a little bit in this spread. The rest of 2016 went pretty much the same. I did some white space planning, I did some no white space planning, and now we're into February of 2017 where I'm still in the vertical, there is some more white space, things are starting to spread out a little bit better, and I've definitely come into the style of planning that I do most regularly now. I'm currently still in the hourly, but I definitely set up my planner very much like this, the way I add to-do lists, how I add decorative boxes. And now we're in July, and this spread I think most represents the style of planning that I'm doing now. It was a couple of weeks ago, and I love that there's space for the stickers to breathe. I don't feel overwhelmed by what's going on. I'm writing on the planner itself. I'm using this side to-do list. Everything seems really comfortable. So of course that probably means I'm destined for a change any day now. But it was really interesting to see just how much I've changed in my planning style over 2 years. It was crazy to look back on my planners and think that I did these spreads. The same person that plans a certain way now planned completely different just 2 years ago. I would love to see how your planning styles have changed, so use the hashtag #PlannerEvolution and share pictures of your first spreads and your most recent spreads so we can check out how things have changed for everyone. But that's gonna be it for today's video. Let me know if you enjoyed this video in the comments, give it a thumbs up if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to see more videos from me every single week, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.